Welcome back, Nerdiverse. This is MOTN Reviews, where we take a glance at one of the most anticipated films of 2025. I'm, of course, Master of the Nerdiverse, Mike G, and with me is the also Master of her central quadrant of the Nerdiverse, Tootie Lady Odin. What's going on, Toots?
What's going on? I'm really excited for this review. Really excited.
Yes, I'm so excited. It feels
Been
like
waiting.
deja vu. It feels like I've
Just a
been
little
here
bit.
before. Like,
Hmm.
and it's funny we mentioned that because we actually saw this movie twice, which gives you an indication of maybe how we feel about this film. But you're gonna have to listen and find out. Um, Toots, right off the bat, before we even jump into our presentation here and just our overall review, what what was your how um how do you feel about Superman? I'm just curious. Like, what are your thoughts on Superman as a character?
Superman is the very first superhero that I was introduced to. I think he's probably the first for many. And I can't remember if it was like a sort of like a Mary Melodies cartoon, but the Superman of the 50s was the very first Superman I ever saw. Um, yeah, it's a good tie between him and Batman. Batman was the first one I was actually into, but Superman I think was the very first superhero I was ever. Superman like is like Band-Aid. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like
Hmm.
when you say superhero, you automatically think Superman. When you say bandage, you automatically think Band-Aid. You know what I mean? He's very iconic and yeah, not I mean not that's not necessarily the reason why I'm so hyped for this movie. I'm not the biggest Superman fan. Um but yeah, I've known him my whole life basically.
Yeah, I think so many generations have grown up with Superman in one way or another, right? And now you have a brand new generation who's this is going to be their Superman, and I think that's super exciting. And like Superman, like you said, he is Kool Aid, right? You know what I mean? Like, hey, make me some Kool Aid. It don't even have to be Kool Aid brand, but you know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
You're gonna need sugar and water, and you're gonna need more. Um, I'm I was really excited about this film going in because of the track record that James Gunn had and just his attention to detail. And I think that was going to lend well to the shaping of this brand new thing, which honestly has to be such a gargantuan undertaking to leave on the shoulders of. Of course, it's not one man, but you're the face of it. You know what I mean? Like you're responsible. It's like a Kevin Feige type of responsibility where it's like if it fails, it's on your head, and that's got to be. But if it succeeds, it's your victory. So, I mean, could you see yourself be put in a position like that where you're like you are the architect of a universe? You know what I mean?
I think specifically when it comes to Superman itself, um, he didn't have a choice but to make a good movie. If this movie were to tank, his career would be over. Like, and I'm not even trying to be dramatic. I truly believe he's already hanging on by a thread. A lot of these um, um, comic book movie directors are hanging on by threads. They get thrown into the trash can so easily. They can get replaced, and even their replacements get thrown, and their careers are over. You know what I mean? So it's just he had no choice. He had to make a good. He The pressure was certainly on him, and he had to make um, an impossible film possible, pretty much.
That's a very good way to put it, and that's a very good, I would say, segue into our first talking point, which is just overall initial thoughts. Thoughts going in. Um, what were your thoughts going into this film? Did you have a high expectation, based upon that kind of notion that this movie could not fail? So did you base your expectations on that statement, or were you still kind of low?
No, no, I had no expectations. Not low. I had no expectations. I didn't want to go into it expecting something and being disappointed, which um, I didn't have to approach it that way, to be honest. But I'm just so tired of being let down by the same goofy, cringy, wokey political trash that they insist on putting in all of these movies. That's why I like Sonic and Super Mario Brothers, and I much rather go that route when it comes to watching a fun film about something that we like, because they didn't need to add any of that in any of those films. You know what I mean? For some reason, when it comes to human actors acting, we got to put our 2 cents in and our personal struggles in, and it's just like it's such a turnoff. So, um, yeah, no expectations, but I also definitely was looking forward to seeing the movie. The trailer, the very first trailer alone was enough to be like, okay, like this is happening, you know. So it wasn't. I didn't go in white knuckling it like it better not suck. I didn't go in like upset already of how disappointed I was going to be. I just went in and I went in to watch a movie, and I walked out very satisfied. So yeah,
I'm peeping your swag in the back. You got some Star Wars stuff back there. You know what I'm saying? I'm peeping
I
the
got a
swag.
yeah. It's a Star Wars book actually.
Sweet. I'm peeping it. I see you
Yeah.
toots. I see you. Speaking of swag, I gotta tell you, I was a little excited for this film. And I just gotta show you that. I was just a little excited for
That's
this
so
film.
cool.
Has a
That
little
is
has a
awesome.
little cape.
He
You know
has
what
a
I'm saying? It
cape.
has a little cape.
That's so
This is my little
cute.
super sip. I'm calling that my super sip. But I got to tell you, I was really
Uh-huh.
excited for this film. I might be a little too excited for this movie.
Open it.
Okay, this is a popcorn. Oop! I just hit the mic. This is a popcorn
That's
bucket,
okay.
and it flips open, and you fill stuff with it.
Who is walking into the movie theater with that? Who is
Me,
walking in?
me, dog. Me and my big doofy old ass, dog. This
Did you really
Superman.
get it filled with popcorn?
No, I
Oh,
didn't eat.
okay.
I can't eat popcorn in the theater because it makes my mouth all dry. But I did get one. I don't know what I'm gonna fill this with. I'm probably put jelly
That
beans in
is
it.
so cool.
It has
It's
crypto on the front.
gigantic.
Yeah, I don't know what I'm gonna do with this thing. It's like a. It's supposed to be like an old timey like a newspaper.
Newspaper dispenser.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's so neat.
That is awesome.
Yeah, man. So I was in for a penny, in for a pound when it comes to this movie. It's a
Very cool.
long time coming for me. Like I've always wanted DC Comics to be competitive with Marvel, like it was when I was a kid, right? For every Batman the animated series, you had the X-Men the animated series. They were both equally good and making each other better. You had Superman the animated series, Spider-Man the animated series. You know what I'm saying? Like Justice League, X-Men Evolution. You know what I mean? It wasn't until like the movies where things went so left and Marvel just got this stride that DC could never catch. And this movie brings back it literally brought back the hope that we can get true competition in this arena and reinvigorate the superhero genre. You know what I mean? So my initial thoughts were very high. I had very high expectations because, like I mentioned earlier, I've come to know James Gunn to make a good product, regardless how you feel about the man. I've when he needs to step up, he steps up. Guardians is a indicator of
For
that.
sure.
Um, so him having this gargantuan task, like you said, it's fail proof. I don't know how many wizards and black magic scientists had to work on this to get it as good as it was. But we'll talk about if it worked or not. Um, any last thoughts, Toots, on initial thoughts before we move on?
No. We can move on.
Cool beans, cool beans. So it sounds like we both had tempered expect. Well, I didn't have tempered expectations. I was losing my mind. But it seems like both of our expectations were. It kind of feels like they were met in this film. So
Yeah.
you know what I mean. So I wanted to say,
Yeah, I would certainly say so.
yeah, absolutely. Um, before I say anything, Man of Steel, the legacy. What emotions does this image invoke in 2D Lady Odin?
The image of the three Supermen?
Yeah, what does that make you feel? Like, does it give you nostalgia? Are you like, man, I'm so happy these guys are gone? Long live Corn Sweat. How does this make you feel when you see this?
No, no. Christopher Reeve Superman's iconic. Like to me that's probably the most memorable out of the three. Out of these three anyway. Um yeah, I don't really have any opinion on the other two Supermen except for what's is this Brandon Routh on this side
Left side?
on the left side? Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, the costume's shitty. I didn't realize how shitty the costume
it's a
was.
really bad costume.
I didn't realize it till now.
I never liked his body. Like, I didn't like how the suit fit him. Like I never liked it. You know what I'm saying? Like the cape was kind of awkward and the S was too small.
He
But that's
looks
just,
long. Like he just looks like somebody stretched it, or I don't know. Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
yeah. It's funny. Like you look at these three costumes, right? And it's like, why is Christopher Reeves the best one, but he does the less work? You know what I'm saying? It's like
Yeah.
it's so simple, but it's so perfect. You know what I mean? Like, how is that possible? Like, how do you get worse through time and technology? Maybe it's overthinking and
Overthinking, over creating too many cooks in the kitchen.
too many
That's what it,
cooks.
too many cooks. Yeah.
Yeah.
Too. That's what it seems like for sure.
I think this movie had some big shoes to fill because, like you said, Superman is the Mount Rushmore George Washington superhero of all time, right? And it's going to be a media event anytime something Superman happens for any genre, may that be video games or movies or even audio. Like Superman's a big deal, and it seems like every time they do it, it's such a radical difference between what it's been. Because I look at Brandon Routh, which is kind of like a clone of Christopher Reeve, but then you have Henry Cavill over here with the Snyderverse, who's kind of alien, no pun intended, to both of these guys, kind of like modus operandi, but it's still Superman. You know what I mean? In a way. So I think of like Corn Sweat actually, I'm never going to say his name right. I'm just going to call him Corn Sweat. Kind of taking a little bit from each of these Supermen, even the Smallville Superman, Tom Welling. Like there's a lot of that in this film, and I think that there's just like the legacy of Superman hangs over this movie, but it doesn't overshadow it. This movie kind of shines through that legacy and adds its own style and flair. What do you think?
No, I agree. Yeah, I think that's pretty accurate. I did see did I remember Brian mentioned uh I don't know if it was a theory, but he mentioned that people are considering this movie to be like the last season of Smallville, and I see a little bit of that. I do see a little bit of Smallville in it. Amazing show. Smallville was is goated for sure.
Yeah.
Um, what was your original question?
Kind of. What are your thoughts on just the shoes that this movie had to fill in this such? There's not many Hollywood legacies as big as Superman. You know what I mean? Do you think this movie had that pressure, or do you think Gunn was just kind of going with the flow?
Yeah, no, it definitely had that pressure. Yeah, there's no doubt about that. And the pressure was actually on the actors as well. Like the heat is on. The heat was on for that for all of them, you know. And I think it was a little bit risky choosing what we would consider no-name actors, even though none of them are. None of them are no-name actors. They're just not prominent in the comic world. Um, I think he did a horror. He started in horror. I don't know. I was just kind of looking in his career and whatnot. So he's had a career, you know what I mean. So he's not unknown, but still risky. I mean, they didn't go with name brands, you know what I mean. Like, so, and they could have, but if they would have done that, it wouldn't have worked. I think the
Hmm.
casting for this movie is absolutely perfect for what it is. But yeah, the pressure was definitely on, and I do think that he did his homework and did his due diligence when it comes to rolling all of these different versions of Superman together for sure.
Very, absolutely, very good call out on the casting. I've always been a fan of them picking no names for these iconic heroes because if you recognize the face, it just takes you out the believability.
Hmm.
Hugh Jackman is a household name now, but when he was Wolverine back in the day, nobody knew who he was. You know what I mean? He was just
Yeah,
Wolverine. Um, the only time that actually worked where it was a known face to the character was Michael Keaton with Batman. And that was backlash because people were like, why is Michael Keaton playing Batman? That's the worst. End up being the best. You know what I mean? I don't even think
yeah.
Christopher Reeve had that big of was Christopher Reeve a superstar before Superman? I don't
I
think
don't
so.
know.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
Interesting.
It's before my time.
Before our time. Speaking of good times, which is our time now, it's our time to shine. Let's talk about just a welcome to this new DCU. Um, One thing I love to focus on movies like this is the world building and the kind of like color palette and the lore, MOTN lore coming back soon. That is kind of generated in this small amount of time for this movie. How do you feel they did, like, as a good or bad job in building a universe that this Superman can live in?
I think they did a pretty good job at reintroducing uh this part of the DCU. Um, I know that there's some podcasters and reviewers out there, the black pilled nerds, as I call them, who were disappointed in it because they refuse to be pleased by anything that's out there right now. But with this being, I guess, quote unquote, the new DCU, like I'll take it. Um, I think it was done well. The fact that they moved 3 years into him being Superman, 3 years into Lex Luthor building the conglomerates that he has built. You know what I mean? Like, it gives us the indication that this is still all very brand new to everybody involved. This entire universe is still brand new to a superhero. At the same time, this is their universe. You know what I mean? Like, this is a norm for them. So like there is people who are complaining about how Superman wasn't getting enough respect and how like they treated this character wrong and blah blah blah. And it's like, do you not realize like what world that is? It's not this one. It's not the one you're sitting in. You know what I mean? They wake up to floating humans. We don't. So there's levels to it. There is probably a ton of superheroes that they respect more than Superman. How are we to say yes or no about that? You know what I mean? Like we don't know for sure, but what we do know is that this is 3 years in Superman, still very brand new, still very inexperienced, still very powerful, right? But
Mm-hmm.
still very inexperienced and what he's trying to do, which brings about controversy, which brings about controversy. And I think that is the struggle for most superheroes, is they always get fused in with the villain half the time because both are very destructive. Let's be honest. Let's call it what it is. Being a superhero means potential for destruction.
Mm-hmm.
So so there's that. But no, I think they um, folded all of these pieces in together quite well. You know what I mean? Reintroducing a soft version, a soft open of the new DCU and doing it in a decent way. I think that's what they did.
I love your call outs. I love the call out of Superman not being the biggest hero in town just yet because he's still having to prove himself, being so green at being a superhero. When you mentioned that, it made me think of the scene where we are first introduced to the Justice Gang. Shout outs Justice Gang. They got a bigger pop than Superman did when they first showed up in the scene.
Yes, you're right.
They were like,
Yeah.
"Hey,
S-
it's the
Uh,
Justice Gang," you know.
spoilers are. Is that would that be considered a spoiler? I don't know, but
It's in the trailer. I think it's
oh, okay. All right.
So
Well, either way,
yeah. Sorry for spoilers.
spoilers.
Spoilers. Don't watch trailers. Um, I love that they airdrop us in the middle of the action. You know what I mean? We don't
Hmm.
have to be
Me
bogged
too.
down with an origin story. And this is the Superman's learning how to fly for the first time. Like, it
Yeah.
reminds me of like Star Wars. Like, remember, like in Star Wars, like the New Hope, you're just airdropped into a situation. Like, there's no prequels, there's no Anakin, there's none of that. You're just, okay, we're on a spaceship. There's a guy in a black suit. Enjoy the ride.
Hmm.
You know what I mean?
There's no
And
time.
there's no time. And everybody knows this origin. Like, there's three
Yeah.
superheroes you can never repeat the origins again: Spider-Man, Batman, and Superman. We don't need to
Hmm.
hear it again. So let's
Agreed.
so let's just go get into the action. Start
Agreed.
building this world. Um, I love that they mentioned that metahumans have been around for 3,000 years. So yeah, they've been around for as long as we've been around, pretty much. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you said, there's Superman's not hot shit. Like, they see people flying around all day and
Right.
doing fantastic stuff from the beginning of time. And Superman's just a new guy on the block, which
Right.
which makes you think, who else are new guys on the block? Like, I'm thinking that Batman is still a myth. I think he's still the Bat of Gotham. You know what I'm saying? Like, and people are like, "Oh, that Batman, that's not real." You know what I mean? Because there's a moment of Batman's history where he's a myth, he's legend. Like, he's not like solidified as the guardian of Gotham. And I think that's where Batman is right now. I think Batman's just as green as Superman is right now. My nerd tinfoil hat, like what's going on in the DCU. But I like that this movie gets you excited for what that could be. You know what I mean? I think it's super
Yeah,
interesting.
yeah, I agree.
Absolutely. Exciting things coming, I think. Supergirl comes out next year. Did you see that? That
Hmm.
Supergirl's coming out next year?
I
And
also saw that he's trying to strike while the iron's hot with Wonder Woman, which I truly hope he doesn't
ooh.
do.
You want to hold
Why?
that
Why?
off. You want to hold that
Like
off.
why? Like what is he? What is he? What is he trying to do here? Nobody wants a rushed Wonder Woman movie. Please, for the love of God.
Yeah, take your time. Take your time. But one thing he has said is that if the script isn't right, we're not moving forward. That's his big thing. We're not even going to greenlight it if the script isn't right. So I don't think he's just going to take any old script.
Well,
You know what I
great
mean?
work, director. That's what every director should. If the script's not right, yeah, don't fucking do the movie.
Yeah. But
Like
a
yes,
lot of directors don't do that.
step one.
This is how we got Batman
That's
versus
true.
Superman. You
That's the
know?
problem. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true.
You know what I'm
Yep,
saying?
yep.
So spoilers ahead
Let's do it.
for Superman. Before we jump into spoilers, what are your non-spoiler feelings about this movie? How did you before, just so we can give someone a taste of what we're thinking without spoilers? What are your non-spoiler thoughts on this movie?
I don't know. That's a very weird question, actually. Um, it's a good movie. Like I'm not really sure what you're asking.
Sorry, I'll go. What I mean is, without spoiling anything, I think this is a great film. I think that James Gunn did an amazing job reinvigorating the spark of superhero movies and bringing back Superman, who was a tale as old as time. He's about to be 100 years old, I think, next year or something like that. So to make that feel fresh and to make it feel relatable is I keep saying gargantuan. It's a giant task, and I think that he did a good job. Is this movie perfect? No, but I think it's better than some of its parts, and it does what it needs to do, which is create a universe for all these other directors and all these other creators and actors to build in that sandbox. So I think this is a really good film. Saw it twice. Kind of want to see it a third time. High recommend. Absolutely.
Yep, everything you said.
Book 'em, Dano. Let's get into spoilers. Let's get into spoilers. Toots, would you give us the honors in giving us a overall um idea of the plot for this Superman film?
All right. So the overall plot for the film, there is outlined things in the movie. Like there's this war happening between two different countries, Jerupara and Moravia. I forgot what it's called, to be honest. I don't even know if they're real countries because I'm ignorant. I'm a soft brain American, so they could be real, they could not be. We'll look it up later. But yeah, so these two countries are at war. Um, Superman ends up putting a stop to the war initially. And it turns out that's really controversial. Like, why are you doing that? That's not our business, blah, blah, blah. So it turns out that Lex Luthor, because of course Lex Luthor's in the movie, because, Lex Luthor is the one behind the war going on. He's funding both sides basically in the movie. Oh, no. Good job, James Gunn. And, but what ends up happening, what ends up like being the soul crushing part of this movie basically is that Superman finds out that a message that he would listen to on repeat from his real parents, his Kryptonian parents, was a message of love and hope and peace. And it turns out his parents, and at the end of the message, which was lost in translation and whatnot, and Lex Luthor happened to be able to translate it finally. And so it's put out in the media that the message is actually encourages Superman to build a harem, and he calls Earth, they call Earthlings simple and kind of dumb, and so it's just the exact opposite. They basically are telling him that he's on Earth to enslave the human race. So the immediately everybody believes it. They all pretty much turn on Superman. So he ends up turning himself in to the U.S. government. Upon doing so, he figures out, because they sent him to a pocket universe that Lex Luthor created. Not my favorite part of the movie. Not my favorite part of the movie, but where else were they going to put him? You know what I mean? Put Koima
Exactly.
jail? Where else were they going to put him? So so yeah, so that happens. Yes, he does escape. To me, one of the better scenes in the movie, and again, we're doing spoilers now. There is an amazing, most fascinating character to me in the entire film is Metamorpho, the Elemental Man. Um, t- Between him and Mr. Terrific, I don't know who I enjoyed seeing more, but there is a scene where Lex Luthor is trying to get information from Superman, but really he's just torturing him, and he brings in a stranger, just a stranger that Superman passes by. They have this sort of high by relationship, and this guy ends up rescuing Superman in a sense where he tries to get him out of rubble after being thrown into cement, like blah blah blah. So he Lex Luthor brings this guy in. He ends up shooting him in the head right in front of Superman's eyes, and Metamorpho's there to basically kill Superman slowly as his hand turns into kryptonite. So while that happens, Metamorpho watches the whole thing, and he just starts breaking down in tears. And to me, that's one of the best scenes of the movie because it gives you an idea that you're not always looking at what you're seeing. Like we see this villain right in him, and it turns out he's the softest, hardest, most empathetic being in the movie. And it's just a really touching scene. While there's heartbreak happening, it's like, oh shit, this guy, get a load of this guy, he's crying. What's going on over here? And and so in the end, he does end up helping Superman get out of the Pocket universe, which he in so facto does get out of the Pocket universe, and everything, things happen, things start happening. The Justice Gang go down and make peace at the border of these two countries, and all is right with the world when it comes to that. And again, there's a lot of action happening. I'm just trying to like narrow it down and pin it down there. Lex Luthor and Superman scenes are absolutely insane. The chemistry between the two characters is really cool. Obviously, the chemistry between Lois Lane and Clark Kent is absolutely just captivating. You're mesmerized, you're hypnotized by it. You're watching every move and listening to every word. Um, the relationship between him and his parents seems so genuine. Even when he's talking to them miles away from the phone, you can hear how bothered he is that they called, but he answered anyway. And it's just such a beautiful, very endearing movie. And Mr. Terrific kicks ass. To me, Mr. Terrific took the entire movie.
Yeah, 1,000%. Mr. Terrific stole every scene he was in. One thing I love about this movie and its plot is I love the growth of Clark Kent. I love that he starts off the film very very headshore and almost very naive, in that I'm doing the right thing, so it has to be right. Whereas Lois Lane, on the other hand, is saying, no, what you did had political ramifications that are you're incited a war. Well, no, I just
Right,
did the right thing. But you're not hearing her. You know what I mean? Like
right.
she's telling him what he needs to hear. And that's actually one of my favorite scenes of the film, is where Lois Lane is interviewing Clark Kent as Superman,
Hmm.
and
So
she's
cool.
it's so cool because
Yeah.
you get to know who Lois Lane is and how fervorous she is about the truth and about perspective, and it's so Lois Lane that it's like, I don't care who you are, if I'm on, you're gonna get it, and I'm gonna get the answers I need. And she's asking him questions like, "So where did your ship land?" I'm never gonna tell you that, dude. Like,
Yeah.
then he starts getting annoyed. You know what I mean? With her voracious appetite for information. Um, and she's like, "Well, no. Did you talk to the president of the United States? Did you talk to the president of Moravia? Did you talk to? No, 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 no. I just did it. Do you see how bad that is? Because
Hmm.
everyone sees you as a representative of the U.S. He's like, I'm not representing anyone but me. You know
And that's the thing. She's not bitching at him. She's telling him what's up. She's telling him, "You
exactly.
can't act that way here, bro."
You
You
can't
know what
do
I
that.
mean? Yeah. And think about it. Like, think about it realistically. If that was the real world, I'd be terrified if we had superheroes who were actively involving themselves in wars and whatnot. Terrified, because I mean, at the end of the movie, I don't know who this dude is. I don't know if he's like the Secretary of War or whatever, but he's a government official, and they said, um, he sarcastically tells them something like, "Way to go! We just gave all the control to the metahumans." Something to that effect.
Hmm.
And like, and as soon as he said, it, I'm like, oh shit, yeah, no, that's not good.
That's not good at
Like that's
all.
not good. That's terrible. Again, then there's the other side. Well, government screws us over and this and that. But it's like the I don't know. It's hard to say. I can I either I let I either we're cool with the president and CIA and all the tinfoil hat stuff, or Thanos does this. I
Exactly.
mean, which one do you prefer?
Feast
Out
or
of the
famine,
two,
right?
So yeah, it's just wild. It's
There's
just
one.
a wild thing to think about. But Lois Lane was absolutely right.
There's a scene where right after that scene, I think, is the scene where Lex Luthor is pitching his team. Luthor, what is it called? Like, like world world trade. No, that's horrible. No, like he's pitching his super villain group to apprehend Superman. And one of the guys is like, "So what's your plan? You're just gonna go round up all the metahumans? That's not gonna work." He's like, "No, just the ones that are actively injecting themselves into political theater. All the other metahumans are smart enough not to do that. They understand political boundary and working within the system. Where Superman is so, I hate to say naive, but he's honestly naive. He's a young
Yeah,
Superman.
he's a
You know what I
young
mean?
Superman. Exactly.
And he doesn't know how to move in this arena yet. And you see him learn from his mistakes based upon the government the government outcry and the kind of like the world view of him. Like you said, it shifts all the time in this movie. Um, People are kind of wishy washy about him, but he's the people's champ. And then that video comes out with his parents telling him the hashtag superhero. You know what I mean? And people are like, no, boo, Superman. I hope he burns in hell. I think one kid said. And then he kind of has to deal with that, like everything I know is wrong, kind of feeling. Based,
Well, okay, let's parentheses this real quick.
yeah,
People were not saying these things on the internet. Lex Luthor, remember the whole monkeys typewriters? Literally, James Gunn, what the heck? He literally had a scene of rows and rows of monkeys on typewriters being trolls on the internet. So yes, humans were not writing these things about Superman, but they were being influenced by the things being written on the internet about Superman. That is certainly true. Hashtag super shit.
hashtag super shit. Hashtag super shit. He hates
So
that,
yeah,
by the
so
way.
yeah, the people didn't necessarily turn on him. They were kind of convinced to turn on him. It's
Yeah,
it's just Lex Luthor just used the power of the internet, power of social media. That was for sure displayed there.
absolutely. And I love that at the end of the day, it was Superman versus Lex Luthor, which is supposed to be, right? And a lot of these movies, it's always the hero fighting a dark mirror of themselves, which Superman does do in this movie, but it's not the main villain. You know, Black Panther has to fight Killmonger, which is just another Black Panther. You know what I mean? Like, I hate that in movies where it's like the Flash has to fight another speedster. No, it was brains versus brawn. It was Lex
Yeah,
Luthor,
quite that. Yeah.
like outmaneuvering Superman on multiple levels with his mind and his money to keep Superman like on the back foot. You know what I mean? And constantly not knowing what to do and how to feel. And it took him listening to his parents, his real parents, to kind of get his head straight and say, okay, this is why I do what I do, which gave him then the kind of the fervor to win the day. You know what I mean? And kind of take over things. The political side of things in this movie, I think, was a little heavy-handed, if not heavy-handed, um, because it's a very real-world conflict that's happening now that they're kind of alluding to in this movie. And like you said, the interjection of superheroes is highly terrifying. You know what I mean? In real world application, because
Hmm.
no man should have that much power. To quote Ye. Um, and if you have just a problem solver out there that is doing what they want to do, that's an uncontrolled substance. That's a weapon of mass destruction just floating
It's a
around.
weapon of mass destruction. Yep. Yikes.
And there's nothing that can change that. And
The only thing that can change is the power of influence. That's the terrifying part.
hmm and
That's the
that's
terrifying part.
that was
Yikes.
and that was Lex's answer, was the power of influence.
Exactly. Hey, but we'll say this. Superman, it truly, genuinely thought he was doing the right thing. He
Hmm.
never made a decision. I mean, no, I can't say never. He did make decisions egotistically, because he wants to look good. He, especially after the thing with his parents came out, but he didn't. He made worse decisions before all that controversy with what with his parents calling it the harem and enslave the human race, blah blah blah. He made much careful, calculated decisions after that. So while his ego was hurt, he didn't let that consume him in any way, shape, or form. He
Ab-
just said, I got to take it one step at a time. And then, and then the Justice Gang came in and, helped him in their ways. And then, yeah, just remarkable stuff.
that's part of the growth I'm talking about. Like,
Yeah.
he had to take a step back. I need to turn myself in to de-escalate this situation.
Yeah. Right.
Mature thing to do. We didn't know Lex was going to go left to do the most petty things humanly possible, but that's outside of Superman's control. You know what I mean? Which led to him getting sent to the pocket universe with the goat himself, Metamorpho. You know what I mean? In Lex's ex, because she wrote a bad blog about him, she got sent to the shadow dimension. Oh, Lex is so petty, dude. Like,
Yeah, he's such a brat.
I want to talk
And
about, yeah.
they are the same age, by the way. It's very implied that they're just as young as each other. So the pettiness, the brattiness, it's all expected for somebody who I would guess maybe in their mid 20s, maybe
mid
late 20s.
late 20s, maybe mid to late 20s, yeah. And it's so Smallville, you know what I mean? Because those two have always
Hmm.
been at odds with each other. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Always been butting heads, which is why he doesn't really like Clark Kent. He's like, maybe I'll get that other reporter that reporter that you always interview with. Maybe I'll go kill Clark Kent next, because thank goodness he doesn't know Superman's identity. I don't want this Lex knowing Superman's identity ever, because that's a terrifying notion. But
Hmm.
giving him that bit of information. Um, let's talk about the heroes and villains of this movie, starting with, let's say, the titular villain, Lex Luthor. Before seeing this movie, my little cousin asked me what makes Lex Luthor formidable to Superman. And I had to think about it for a second. I'm like, on paper, it's a hard sell. Superman being the power of a god, can fly through cities, laser beam oceans dry, versus this human, right? But then this movie has a great example of what makes Lex Luthor so powerful in his way. He's methodical, he's conniving, he's petty, he's hyper intelligent, he's resourceful, and he's persistent. You know what I mean? There's there's a reoccurring thing in this movie where Superman's getting his ass whooped for a good majority of the movie by Ultraman here, and you're like, that doesn't feel good. Why is Superman losing? It's because Lex Luthor has hired a team of geniuses and studied all of Superman's fighting moves to where they're calling cheater plays into Ultraman to know exactly what Superman's going to do before he does it, and constantly have him on the back foot and just beat him every single time. And I'm like, that's such a Lex Luthor thing to do,
Hmm.
and it's like under normal circumstances, Superman would probably have the upper hand. But when someone's putting in cheat codes, like actual cheat codes to win, um, it like, and you're fighting someone is equally as strong as you in Ultraman, it makes things a bit tougher. Big Blue here. What are your thoughts on Lex Luthor and how he was portrayed in this film?
I thought he was perfect. I thought he did a really, really good job. Like I said, I know there's some people who didn't like it, and I know some people are like, oh, it's borderline cringe. I don't think so. I think it was done well. He kind of reminds me, another one of my favorite actors. He kind of reminds me, if Tom Cruise were to play Lex Luthor at that age, that's exactly how Tom Cruise would play it.
That's a good call out.
That's how I think this actor did as Lex Luthor. I agree with you. The only and he Lex calls it out himself. The only way that he was ever going to be Superman is brain over brawn. Like he knows that that's the only formula he has to work with when it comes to him. And the pettiness comes from this, just the pettiness of hating him in the first. He's just jealous. That's it. It's nothing more than that. He didn't kill his brother. He didn't. Like there's nothing real or concrete to solidify and affirm this hatred. It's just sheer immature jealousy that apparently never ever goes away.
Ever goes
And
away.
that I mean, so to think about it, a 67 70-year-old Lex Luthor, right? still just as petty. I would expect him to act this way at this age. He is a full blown brat, but very professional, but a brat. He threw away a girlfriend into a pocket universe because she wrote something bad about him. His second girlfriend he threw into it because she was taking selfies and sending them to another dude. That one I get.
Yeah.
That,
No, she had
but
it coming. She had it coming. No. That's
oh, that's funny.
funny.
But yeah, so he was portrayed very well. This is a very well-rounded, in my opinion, well-rounded Lex Luthor somewhat origin story. He's already
Yeah.
established, but not established enough. He's already figured out how and when and who and what he needs to do to beat Superman, but has obviously hasn't figured it out enough. It's just perfectly done.
And
It's very
his
very timely for that character for that age.
absolutely. And he's almost defeated by his own hubris, isn't he? You know what I mean? Like he knew crypto existed, right? He knew crypto was a player on the field, but he was just so into A1, 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 A1. Like he was so
Right.
into he was like he got tunnel vision and didn't realize that Superman was playing 4D chess too. You know what I mean? And was like, okay, this is how I turned the tables on Lex Luthor. And I think about all of the just portrayals of Lex Luthor throughout the years. Michael Rosenbaum, which I think is up there with this Lex Luthor as like top two Lex Luthors of all time. You know, like I'll probably go Michael, this guy, and then like maybe Gene Hackman in regards to like live action portrayals of Lex Luthor. And Michael and this guy are like like depends on how I feel because I think this portrayal of the character was so strong. And like you said, and at first I thought it was a little cringy. I thought he was a little overly animated, but not for that age. We got to remember that these are young versions of
Hmm.
these characters, and that he's going to be overexcited, and he's going to be at his most haterist. One of the funniest memes I'm seeing going around is that I love the movie Superman because it showed me that I'm not as big as a hater as I could be. And it's just a picture of Lex Luthor raging into the screen when Superman breaks out of the cosmic jail. And it's like, yeah, Lex would be fuming if that happened. How did my perfect plan go awry? How is he doing it? I hate Superman so much. There's even like a moment where he's in the Fortress of Solitude and he's like, you know what? I can't stand metahumans, but I really hate Superman. Superman. Like I just hate everything about him. Like I hate how his strength. What did he say? I hate how your strength amplifies our weakness. You know what I mean? Like you just hate everything he stands for. And
Hmm.
Superman's like, what did I do? And that's
Yeah.
all. You know what I mean? Like Superman's always like, what did I do? What am I doing wrong? You know what I mean? And it's just like, shut up, die, shut up and die. You know? And Superman's kind of like, I don't know what to do, man. I'm just gonna keep doing what I'm supposed to be doing, and that's
And he
their
and he lets
relationship.
he lets Lex live. He doesn't
Yeah,
have to, but he's just like, hey, no. he's like, he's like, no harm, buddy. Like, you know what I mean? He just letting bygones be bygones.
it's so, and that probably frustrates Lex even more. You know what
Yeah,
I
right.
mean? Because nothing's worse than when you're mad at someone and they don't give it to you back. You know what I mean? Lex is so
Superman's just teaching him a lesson, like a very long lesson.
the longest lesson of all time. Just chill out,
Uh,
bro. We could be.
that's funny.
You know how crazy the world would be if we were just friends. You know, if you were
And it's
just
so funny because you see evidence of that in this movie. When he's talking to Electra, is that her name? No, what's her? That's not Electra.
the engineer.
The engineer, and he's like, you don't have to do this. He's like, they're actively fighting each other. He's like, you don't have to be this way anymore. Blah blah blah. He's like literally trying to talk morally support her while they're fighting each other. He's trying to give her therapy, and he does it with Ultraman too. You know what I mean? Like he's actively trying to convince these people you can be better than this while they're beating him up.
That's the
So this is a
most.
thing that Superman is. He's just a walking, talking Bible. He's a walking, talking book of goodness. So it's so annoying.
It's the
I if I was Lex, I would hate him too. It's very annoying.
it's the Spider-Man effect, right? It's like don't whoop my ass and then give me words of affirmation.
That's funny.
You know what I mean? Like Spider-Man's talking shit the whole fight, so it frustrates you. I hate this guy. How is he winning? I hate Spider-Man. Whereas like Superman is like, if you brush your teeth twice a day, you have a shining grin like me. Yo, relax, dog. I'm trying to kill you. There's other ways to do this. Self help starts within. Shut up, Superman. You're gonna
Yeah,
die. you
that's
know,
exactly what he did too. It's pretty adorable actually.
yeah. Like there's
Now
a
that
cop
now that we're talking about it, it's like, oh shit, that's pretty cute that they
that,
even have
and
him do.
that's why he hates him so much. Like I hate
Yeah,
you, Doug. You're the worst. While there's a giant kaiju destroying the city, he saves a single squirrel. That's
yeah,
Superman. That
yeah,
is, like you said, black pilled nerds are so mad at that scene where they don't truly understand the character. Like, no, that's Superman.
yeah,
He saves kittens from trees, dude.
yeah.
Like,
They were upset that he was. It was just they were, to me. They're the ones somewhat out of touch, or they're just refusing to like they want Superman to solidify and get uh sorry for the term, but I don't have another one. But they want him to get rock hard, and they don't want him to do anything else but be this and
be what
only
they
this.
want him to be.
Like it's like it'll never happen. Like stay black pilled, and then may your good luck with your podcast when people get tired of your opinion, because it's not divided in my opinion about this movie. I think more people like this movie than don't. So the black pill nerds are even having to say, if you like it, then you like it. You know what I mean? So they're even having to admit that there is some good things going on. And for them to have to admit that, then it just tells me, well, no, it was a good movie.
Yeah.
Like you guys are literally actively looking for things wrong with it for whatever reason. The squirrel scene, but what's the big deal? I think it was silly, but like you said, it goes back to the character of Superman. It's not silly for Superman to save a squirrel because he can do
Oh.
literally anything
In real time. You know
in
what's
real time.
You know what's sad, Toots, is that even the toxic nerds don't agree with each other because they all see Superman in a different way in their own mind. So if it's not exactly what they want, they rage out, and they don't even agree with each other because they all see him differently. Because he's a
Yeah,
100-year-old character who's been
right.
portrayed 1,000 different ways. So it's like embrace new, embrace different, embrace fresh. Like you know what I mean? Because there's a whole generation of Superman fans who grew up with the Snyderverse, and that's their Superman, and God willing for them. But that's not the
Mhm.
only Superman. There was Superman before, and there are Superman after, and this is after.
Right,
You know what I
right.
mean? And if you truly love the character, you grow with the character. You know what I mean?
I agree 1,000%. I agree. I agree with that, and especially because I mean, I'm not sure what exactly. I don't know if they want more flips. I don't know what exactly you want in a plot like this. It's a comic book movie. They're all going to be pretty weak. Bad guy comes, good guy comes. Got bad guy defeats good guy. Good guy then overcomes bad guy. Movie ends. It's all the same. What more do you want?
What do you
Like
expect?
how much more depth in a plot that we know is going to happen to like how what do you want out of it? Like
They
how far deep do we have to like that's what I'm saying. Like
they don't know.
what do you want? They
They
don't
don't
know
know.
because when they finally have something good, they still want to bitch and complain about it. When they have something bad, I mean, how would that not confuse you as a writer director? You know what I mean? Well, they didn't like it, so now what? Well, let's just go back to the old formula and do these bullshit movies again. That was easier.
You know what it
So like
is?
it'll never win. It'll never happen where everybody wants the same thing. Not anymore.
And the sad thing is that like you said, these directors, if directors and actors, directors and filmmakers went through a stage where they actually listened to what we were saying and made adjustments based upon the common, zeitgeist, right? But now they're learning that we don't know what we want, so they're not listening to us at all anymore,
Right.
at
It's
all.
true.
And they're like, we can't listen to you because you guys don't know what you want, and we're
Yeah.
never going to make you happy. So we're just going to make ourselves happy. You know what I mean? We're
Yeah.
gonna make what we feel in our hearts is the best thing we
We're
can
gonna
do.
line our pockets with money and we're gonna call it a day with these films. That's why they've been putting out trash.
Hmm.
Because it's just money making. You're gonna go watch it anyway. I'm gonna make what the hell I want.
And
And they phone it in.
hmm
And if they don't phone it in, they get these bottom dollar people who have no idea what they're talking about, not one clue as to what's a comic book. You know what I mean? And so that's why this stuff develops the way it does. And it's just it's sad because I this movie like it's I don't know about like awards and all that. Maybe not, but it's not also it's not what we've been getting. So like what that's what I'm saying. Like I'm just so confused as to what more people could want. I can't think of one thing more that this movie could have provided that would have made it a better film.
Yeah.
The only reason why I give it the score that I do when we get there is because of the just because of James Gunn things, the James Gunn thingies that are in it, and it's not even that big of a deal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just who cares? Let James Gunn do James Gunn shit.
Uh,
It's okay.
Let James Gunn. Have you seen that hashtag?
Mhm.
Hashtag the gun is loaded. Hashtag reloading the gun. Have you seen that floating around? Where people are
No.
like, "Yo, he's reloading the gun." GUNN. The gun was not full of blanks. The gun is ready to go, and people are like excited about this movie. You know what I mean?
I
And
think
it's
so.
and it's only like the stupid fat
Yeah.
nerds who don't want to let go of their ideas that find holes in something that is not perfect. Nothing is perfect. We don't.
Right.
Nothing on earth is perfect. The last perfect thing died for our sins.
Yo.
Bars.
Agreed.
But
Bars.
Jesus. But but this movie, like you said, I can't think of anything I would add to this film that would make it better. The only thing I would do is subtract things that I think would
There
make
you
it
go.
better. You know what I'm
There you
saying?
go, Ski. Yeah.
So
Nice.
with that,
Nice.
let's get into our final verdict. Um, you want? Would you like to go first, Toots, on your final verdict, or would you like me to go
Yeah.
first?
Yes, but before that, I want to say we didn't touch on any of the other heroes. Again, we briefly mentioned Mr. Terrific. You guys have got to watch the movie. Mr. Terrific has the best scene in the entire movie, right in the middle of it, with the best song ever. So like I went home singing the song like for like this whole weekend. It's so good. So highly recommend you watch the movie for that scene alone. Mr. Terrific. I don't remember the actor's name. I think it's Elio
Eddie something.
Godai, Eddie
Yeah.
Godai. I don't remember, but no disrespect, but he killed it. He absolutely rocked it. I want to see more, more, more of Mr. Terrific for sure. Okay, so yeah, I'll go first. So I'm not going to prolong it. Like I said, the movie was excellent. The movie far exceeded any expectation I probably would have given it anyway. I love that I saw it twice. I would not mind actually seeing it again because it was that good. It's so funny. Watching the second time was 1,000 times better than watching it the first time. Honestly, it really was. I got to enjoy the colors. The first time I'm watching it to study it, so I'm not really paying attention to everything. I'm paying attention to the things that I feel like I needed to at the time. Second time, I got to watch it more relaxed. Again, this movie is absolutely vibrant. The Fortress of Solitude was beautiful. The sounds, oh my goodness, it was all detailed. It was so gorgeous. Crypto, CGI Crypto
Crypto.
wasn't that bad. He wasn't that bad. And as a character himself, I did not like him. I did not hate him. He was adorable though, to say the least. And the CGI, like I said, not bad. I was highly convinced in some scenes he was kind of a real dog. So yeah, good stuff. Very good stuff. So my final verdict for this film, what are we doing? 4 out of 5, 8 out of
For,
10?
let's say 4 out of 5 Big Belly burgers.
Let's go. All right, okay. You got to go watch the movie.
Gotta go watch the
Okay.
movie.
So yeah, for sure. 4 out of 5. That's what I'm giving it. A 4 out of 5 actually.
That is a
Yeah,
high
like I
score.
said, hell yeah, like I said, like you said actually. I don't want anything. The only thing that could have made it better is the very few tiny James Gunn scenes. The actual this was written by James Gunn. The actual those scenes, those probably could have been tapered down a little bit. Other than that, man, it's a great movie.
I'm so happy that you like this movie. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm so happy that you enjoyed it. Because this is MOTN. This is Mike G coded. This film. This is. I wish I was 10 years old watching this movie. It's one of
Mm.
those. It's like Sam Raimi's Spider-Man seeing it for the first time. You know what I mean? It's teenage. It's TURTLE power. It's watching the Teenage
Oh,
Mutant Ninja Turtles again. Hashtag random select. That was excellent. Um, I'm not gonna, like you said, I don't want to drag this out. I'm giving this a 4.5 out of 5,
very
almost a perfect
nice.
score.
Almost a perfect score. That's wow.
I love this movie. I've been thinking about it since I've seen it. I've been dreaming of the future of this whole franchise. I'm excited for the competition it's going to provide for Marvel. I'm I'm interested to see what characters, like I want to see the Flash in this world. How colorful and beautiful is that going to be?
Mm.
Like you said, Wonder Woman is coming down the pipe. Batman. Like I love DC. Like honestly,
Supergirl.
Supergirl.
I'm kind of hyped for Supergirl too,
Yeah, she
to be
was in this
honest.
movie.
Yeah.
Um, the colors, the world, the lived inness of it. Oh, the one and you asked me, Mike, why the point five? What was it? Honestly, I felt that there were certain scenes that dragged a little bit. The time in the Pocket Universe was a little long in the tooth for me. Kind of Superman being out of the way. There were certain Gundamisms that kind of annoyed me a little bit.
Yeah.
But like you said, you got to let the cook cook, right? He's going to do his thing. So, and like you said, these are small gripes. These aren't like score breaking issues that I'm having with it. It's like little things I would have shortened. Like I said, there's nothing I would add to this movie. This movie doesn't need Batman. It doesn't need Wonder Woman. It doesn't need a giant event to happen. It just needed Superman to be hopeful and smile and just be a beacon of strength and love, and that's what he was. Um, and I'm just so excited for the future. Like that's all I can think about. I want more. And it's like
Me too.
I feel like Tyrone Biggums. You got any more of them Superman movies? You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
I want more of this for sure, without a doubt. I want more of this. Like, yeah, it's good stuff.
The future's so bright. I gotta wear shades. MOTN shades, ladies and gentlemen. We're getting a sweepstakes coming up soon. A giveaway. What
Yeah. Got to work the kinks out on that one, but yes, yes, hopefully soon. Yeah, hopefully
Toot,
soon.
you want to go into plugs?
Yes, I do.
Plugs.
Let's do it. So, catch us this Friday night and every Friday night on YouTube at 6 p.m. Very, very live. Very, very live. Me, Mr. Mike G, and Mr. B Wash will be there. We love chatting with you guys. So, the more the merrier. The party gets longer and longer every time we do a stream, and we love that. We love to just have you guys with us. It really, really kicks off our weekends every single time, and it's the highlight of our week, to be honest. Um, MOTN figured it out. Saturday nights, 8 p.m. That is Mike G's 1/6 scale collectible shows. I know you guys can see them behind him. They are absolutely breathtaking. The show is well worth the watch. Highly recommend. And it's also live. So a lot of us are in the chat while Mikey does his thing. I like asking him questions. I like yelling at him when his audio is bad. It's all
Bad
good
audio.
fun.
Bad. Pray for this episode. If you hear this, that means it went well. If you
I
didn't
mean,
hear this,
well.
if you did hear this, hashtag bad audio.
Oh, brother. Lastly, MOTN lore, Masters of the Nerdiverse lore is coming back. We have done the due diligence of AI selecting. Well, AI has done the due diligence of selecting our next few that you guys are actually going to vote for. I think we're still going to do it that way. I'm not positive, but either way, they will be selected at random. There's a handful of them that I personally can't wait to do. Willy Wonka's Golden Ticket is probably high up there. I can't wait to do that if and when we get to do it. So keep an eye out for that MOTN lore. The best way to do that is follow us on Instagram. What is the Instagram handle? Is it at Masters of the Nerdiverse Cast?
Yep.
It's all of that at Masters of the Nerdiverse Cast. So follow us there to just keep up with us. And those are our plugs.
We would shorten that, but it would destroy our search engine optimization. So you have to deal with it. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It was created at a different time. I apologize. And the humble Tootie Odin forgot to plug herself. Tootie's Toy Box is going live tonight.
I'm supposed to go. I'm supposed to do it tonight, but since we're going to air this tomorrow, I'm going on tonight for sure.
Yes.
Tonight being tomorrow, because my eyes are killing me right now. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do it tonight.
But yes, please follow her channel. She's
I
doing an
do
amazing
it.
job. She do it. She do it.
I do be doing it. So
She do
yeah,
it. She do
follow
be doing it though. Follow her.
follow me. Find me on Twitch. At Tootie.Odin003 at Instagram. At Tootie_Odin on Twitch. So
And feed money into her Cash App so you can put pour into her model kit addiction.
buy me things.
Buy me things. Do it.
Do it.
Do it.
Do it.
Do
Do
it.
it.
Do it.
Do it.
This has been a very fun episode. I just jacked up my throat, so I'm gonna end it here at the hour mark. Thank you everyone for watching MOTM reviews. What the next MOTM review movie will be, we don't know. It may be an old classic like My Demon Lover, or it may be a movie like Fantastic Four. It all depends on what I can get these people to watch with me.
It's definitely going to be Fantastic Four.
You see how I slipped that in there? You see how I slipped that in there?
It'll definitely be Fantastic Four.
I'm, of
So
course, being your host, Mike G. I'm going to get my demon lover one of these days. It's going to happen. Spooky doors. It's going to happen.
what the heck?
Thank you so much for watching. Tooch, you're an angel. Thank you for accompanying me on this journey.
It was fun.
MOT. It's been fun. It's been very fun.
Yeah. Thank you.
MOTN out. Take care, everybody. Where is my button?